Right, there we go. YouTube's up now. Yeah, this is the first one I've ever had in, to be honest. It's from the same guy that sent that. What was the last one? We had an SG something else, the newer one than this. They're like literally the two Segas I don't own. Check if Facebook's. I think Facebook hasn't worked either. Oh yeah, it has, I think. Go live. Forgot to click the go live button. Ah, there we go. Should be, I think, live on there as well. Ooh, new member. So as soon as I get started, everything starts going off and people coming. Right, I think everything is now streaming. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, cool. So we can get started. Right, so this one is repair the controller port. So the first thing we need to do with this is actually get it working. We've got these controllers. I've literally never used one of these before, so this is as new for you as it is for me. One of the very, very few retro consoles I've not worked on. I nearly brought one a few years ago. So load runner. I've got a load of new setup. So I've got this little extra camera. Like, we need more angles, but I've got one from behind here I can kind of move around and pick up and do what we want with. If we want like a, some kind of view, I just thought I'd reuse this ob spot. So it depends if this is useful when I'm doing any kind of microscope work and you can kind of see under. And then I've also got, you noticed, where are we on the horizontal? This one. Look what I made. So I couldn't stand that JBC app that was terrible. So now watch this. Pick my iron up. Real things. So that's the temperature. And the power is the big bar. So we can now get the whole Krillin power bar going. If somebody can make me some Goku Super Saiyan transformations, we can link all that in. And then battery power, it's all real as well. So put that away. And the power drops. So what I'm thinking is, like Metcal as well, where you're soldering and you go in. Well, if you imagine when that temperature peaks and then drops a percentage, that could be the time at which it beeps to know that the joint's done. So we could even make like a fancy little thing like that. And then if I share my screen over this side, this is the app I've made. PC. So probably maybe go full screen PC. There we go. So look at this. So not only we've got that, I've got pick up the iron, and then you've got a bar there as well. So you've got the old-fashioned JBC style on the left and a cool bar on the right. And then if I hold that up to this camera, I can turn the iron off. So the light's gone off. Turn it on. Change the temps. Got all the settings and everything. Need me help a minute.
Like, you knows where it is, but it's like...
Yeah, so basically this is the app. We've got all the settings. I've literally reverse engineered all of JBC's tool for the Mac app and made this. And then this you can open up separate browsers for streaming. And then that's all I do. So I've got, we go back to that. I've also overlaid this because I'm not sure whether we want to see this kind of thing somewhere. So this is like the, I don't know, this is the graph I've updated since I've updated the appeters. So you could have like that graph overlaid as well. But I find that the reason I made this other kind of thing here is it's much more like obvious. So you've got your temperature there. And the main thing you want to know is the power. So when you lift up, that indicator is how much power is being pumped to the iron. So the key information you want to know, which is the cool thing, is how much is the iron pumping in. And when it goes blue, you know you're done. No, Zach hasn't got it yet. It's should be shipping in a few days. They're waiting on one of the things I ordered that isn't in stock, of course. Right, I better start with this. I haven't got very long to. I don't know how long we'll get done on this because we've got work going on. So this might be a short stream. So the problem with this is it's RF at the minute. So we have just an RF port, and what I'm going to do is, just because I can't be bothered get a VCR out at the minute, I'm just going to clean RGB it, but as a composite mod. So, oh yeah, that steak sandwich was amazing, like absolutely amazing. I did myself proud. That was the Sage oven again, just fried it, forget a sear on like a full fillet, and then finished it off in the Sage oven. It was absolutely amazing. So let's see. Like I said, I've never seen in one of these yet, so no idea. We'll figure this one out together. And we have an on-off switch, obviously DC input, which I don't know the power of. Low and high is normally your RF channel, so that's normally for selecting 2 channels. But when we're composite modding this, just temporarily, so I can actually see what's going on, then we shouldn't need that. Wonder why Twitch is so much quieter in volume than YouTube. Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, I can send separate audio streams. I can actually look at what the streams are. Mainstream, audio ACC, 1 track, 128-bit. That's normal. Settings, stream, audio, desktop audio, not available. Meters advanced. It's all like grayed out while I'm streaming. The only thing I'm wondering is maybe the audio output is. I doubt it though. No, it can't because the audio mixes in here. Yeah, I'm just guessing it's like your machine basically. I've worked on a PSX there. Yeah, I have once. The rectangle things with the big PSX writing on. I was about to say, what the hell's that? That's the new Twitch notifications kicking in. Oh, new sub as well. Oh, there you go. So that says so their own Twitch's own thing says a new sub, and then Streamlabs correctly said a resub. So good job, Twitch. Oh, this is basic single-sided board. That's it. Just comes out. So this is going to be very easy to work on either way. Flour. Yeah, you did say don't bother using Twitches. I thought I'd give it a try. It sounded cool. Right, so guess we can go to the overhead. Yay, overhead isn't working. Let me turn on and off there. Yeah, the camera's. I think. Oh, I figured out why it went off. You know, the other day when the camera froze, I've got too much power running through a smart switch. I've got a single smart switch turning on 3 cameras. So I think when I did the long stream, it ended up basically overheating. So I probably need to split that off into 3 smart cameras, 3 smart switches to handle it. Cartridge, I think they are. I think that's the same size as the 2600. Ooh, just pulled me wire out the reel. I'm pretty sure that. Oh yeah, so here's a perfect use case. Does this kind of? Yeah, could do like this while I'm working on it, maybe. Like there, I don't know if that's any use. Managed sorted or.
Yeah,
cool. So I just thought, I don't know, that's like too much too many camera angles, I think, is the only thing. I like the idea of the extra one, but I think it's a bit distracting having all of them. So that is the size of that. And let's just see. 2600 gain. Oh, pitbull. Oh, there's a 2600. There's the Sega. So exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same, but 3mm thinner and taller, but very close. Right, so first thing we need to do is see if we can get some video out on this. Where's the RF? So typically on the RF, all you have to do on any composite mod really is to just look at these pins. You'll normally have a 5V, an audio, and a video, sometimes ground, or sometimes only one of the two, either ground or voltage. But like I say, I know nothing yet, so we've got to figure this out as we go. Why isn't that beeping? Because that isn't the right probes. Right, regulator anywhere. Power comes in, so we've got the classic regulator there, 7805. So that means we have the input here, ground and output, so we can test ground. There's a solid ground. That's ground, so we know that's bit is ground. Let's check if any of these are. Nope, so there's no ground. That'll be ground though. And then we'll check. The scratching sound gets in my teeth. We've got the output there, so either of these 5V. So that's 5V. So we've got 5V there and 3 unknowns. One will be video, one will be audio, one will be something else. Let's have a look on the bottom. Could probably quite easily tell from that that was the input. 3, so that's 5V there. Where's it gone? Yeah, so that is 5. So we've got this, this, and this. So where's this one going? All the way up to around and up to here. So this is going to the header. So this is channel switch. So that'll be the RF frequency switch. So we've got ground, frequency switch. So that one switches your RF station. That one is your ground. And then what you can do is pop the can off as well and just see what goes to, you know, in here and track it that way. But we've got 2 left. We've got audio and video. So we only realistically need to figure out of these 2, which is audio, which is video. So this one goes to here through whatever component that is, which is, where are we? This one, flip over. Oh, no, that's 2 pins. That's a ground of a cap. So is that just ground again? No, that's not ground, is it? Where did we say ground was? Yeah, so that's a cap for smoothing or potentially video, and that's the shared. In fact, no, one's ground, one's not. So that'll be the cap. So that's going to be there to there. So that means that's probably the DC bias removal of the video, I'm going to guess. And that's a resistor going to ground that's linked to the next one that goes back around. So a cap for DC offset, a resistor to pull to ground. Yeah, I'm going to guess this one's video. And the audio is being... actually, it could be either. Let's carry on following it around, see if we get any clues. 1, 2, 3. So one of them goes into the 3rd pin down of this chip. There we go. So that's the video chip. So it's almost definitely 3rd pin down. Let's see if we can get a schematic of this thing. They probably have a schematic. Well, we only need the pin out of this now anyway. TMS9918 pin out. I'm surprised it hasn't taken it to the wiki for once. That says CPU clock, so that's clearly wrong. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't trust that. If it is, then yeah, it says CPU clock. Maybe that's the 1, 2, 3. Go to there. Oh, hang on. That isn't the trace. It's this one. It goes around that cap to here. That's why. Because that didn't make sense. So that over there, up and around to here. So it's whatever this component is. Which is a resistor. Going up. So it goes to there. And then around. Goes through here. Back around. Wow, that's a good way of going. And then it goes to this pin. So now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins down. And that on the PC. 5 pins down is comvid. So that's composite. So that goes, composite comes out to here, all the way around, wiggles around, all the way down, up through this. This is a jumper wire that goes straight back down to there, around to there, through a cap and into there. So we can tap off. We can just tap off the common video here, whichever one it was. That one there. So that's where we'll start. Hey, welcome in. So now let's check out my iron thing, that it actually works. Oh yeah. So that one wasn't it, I think. And we're going to need... Oh, I've got the hibernation settings and stuff as well. I could add that to the UI so it actually says what it's doing instead of just having the power only. So yellow wire for composite. And then we're going to need 5 volt and ground. Let's get this on. So we can probably tap off 5 volt and ground near this chip as well, so we don't have to tap off multiple places. So ground is... Where's ground on this? We haven't... Apparently this chip doesn't have ground according to the pinout. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pins down on the other side. Oh, it does. I'm just blind. So yeah. Ground on this. Probably better. Where's my mouse gone again? Better with that view for now while I'm doing this. So this should be fully working. We should just have to see it working. Then we've got to socket this chip that I'm attaching to. And then there's an issue with the controller port, so we'll have to figure that out, but depending on time, we'll see how far we get. So like I say, I know nothing about this at all, so we'll figure this out from... If there's a schematic, there is. If not, we'll just do what we can without it. It's the ground, and then 5 volt is 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, from the video, miss 2, and then it's power. And you might find you could just tap off this pin, but I'm going to pass it through the clean RGB so we don't load down the video chip. You don't want to be loading down that video chip and damage it, so we'll pass it through the clean RGB, just using it as an amp, basically like a buffer stage. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can get anything. I kind of want to test that power to get it max out. Might get a big heavy copper plane. See that? See that meter go up. And that can go back there. I think we'll just turn this camera off for now, this little side one, because I think it's was a cool idea, but I think it's too many views. And that's boiling as well, that camera. Absolutely boiling. Sticking back up there. Out the way for now. It was a good idea to get like a, you know, when we said like another view behind, but I think when you've got multiple views, it's a bit weird. It like just seems a bit too many of the same angle. Yeah, I pulled it up briefly on stream a few times, but I don't think it worked. Like, it's cool and you see, but I think it's too many angles. I think if you were doing it as the only angle, maybe we will. But not as like the, you know, not as an extra angle. I think it's weird as an extra angle, basically. First Gengi yesterday, thanks for your video. Ah, nice. Right, clean RGB. I probably should have just gone and got a VCR out the other room. Would have been quicker than this, but never mind. So what you can do, if you don't have, like, there's no real, it's one of these products again that exists because people think they need it, but the clean RGB now really replaces the clean comp universal, because the clean comp is effectively one of these channels, whereas this is 4. So it's very much the same design, except this handles 4. So if you want to use this as a clean comp universal, you just pass the composite in one and it comes out the other. So that's what I'm going to do here. But it's similar to the clean amp duo in the clean amp. When I stopped selling the clean amp, people were like, well, I don't want the duo. I'm like, well, why not? You just plug one speaker in. Oh no, but I haven't got 2 speakers. It's a perception thing that people think they need. So selling a clean RGB universal and then telling them to use it for the clean comp, they think it's you know, something's wrong or you're missing a product, stuff like that. Does have an expansion board with an RF connector. Oh, nice. Whether it works or not, though, whether it be in the OSSC, you'd hope so. But is it made by the same people that actually made the OSSC? Because it's obviously open source, isn't it? So is the person that's done the Pro actually done it right? Because I know I brought some RF stuff, and similar to most things, they're designed for American RF, which is not like RF anywhere else in the world. So like the frequencies are different. They're similar to composite color blending and stuff. Like the chroma circuit's wrong. So I brought 2 RF boxes to save having to have the VCR plugged in, and it was set up for basically American composite, so everything was black and white that I wanted to do, so it was pretty much useless at that point. Whereas they should have just had, like, it's again something I can make. I should probably make an RF box, but then how much is it ever needed? I've never really needed it because I'll just tap off the composite. Like, you know, you do this. RF's always got composite in it. You just have to remove the modulation. Like, I probably could have just disabled the modulation and lifted the audio pin and then used the port itself, but that's that. Right, so now we need to connect this up. So I just take a 6 RCA cable. So we've got the composite pin at the end. I'm not bothered about the audio. This is a fully working console. We just want to tap in on the audio. So we will grab them and just cut these off so they don't accidentally short. So, and now we've got just the 2 pins we need. So they're all the audio that we're ignoring, and here's the video output we need. Female port that need to converge for a screw. Yeah, nice. I mean, I'll probably get one at some point because I think I sold an OSSC and I didn't have one, so they had Zach's. And then Zach's now got a retro Tink, which was the only thing we had left in the cupboard because we don't use them, and it's painful. It's dog shit and doesn't remember its settings. And when you're used to the OSSC, I don't understand people why they. Well, I think the people that use retro Tink just simply haven't used anything else, or they're sold on the dream that that's the, you know, like the market favorite or the best. It really isn't. It's better than some, but it's pretty bad. Like even the Pro and the latest one, I've got every single retro Tink device on the floor down there that I don't use because I wanted to try them all, and they're all when you've used better things, they're not good. Especially now the new ones, like it costs a lot, but just use an OSSC, no problems, works better. Doesn't add noise to composite for no reason. Remembers settings. It's just, I don't know. I just don't understand why people use the RetroTink unless they just simply haven't used the OSSC, which is what you tend to find. And again, I could make all these things, but the OSSC does everything I need. So I try not to make stuff I don't need to make, because it's just more things I have to do. Yeah, I think the only upscale stuff is some receivers are shit at upscaling. So if you send it 1080p and it tries to upscale, it blurs the pixels. And that's the only reason people like the upscaling stuff, so that a known device upscales it so that the receiver doesn't try to do something funky. Right, so I'm not even going to bother to get the oscilloscope on this. Why have I still got a cable out? Still got the Mega Drive cable plugged in here. I'm just going to plug it into the receiver, and we're going to do this on the fly, try and figure it out visually, just by spinning knobs around. Right, so turn that on. That's set to composite. HDMI. So, what do we need now? We need power now. So, 5 volts power. We'll just go straight on to I'm tempted. What am I tempted by? No, I'll just that's great. I'll just get me normal. Overthinking things. Let's just solder 2 wires on. Let's try and just trying to think of a way of getting 5 volts onto this. I'm just being lazy. Couldn't be bothered to solder the 2 wires. So let's add an extra ground pad. Let's add a ground pad over here, out of the way. In fact, even over here, further out of the way. Oh, there's a good test. Look at that. 14 watt of power. I've still never seen this thing pump up to like 20 odd watt. Go on, keep going. Ah, geez, that's hot now. Shouldn't have left that run. Oh yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the power supply, because the thing is, if I use the power supply, it's going to get warmer as well. I'm just going to tap straight onto the 5 volt rail. So we've got the 5 volt rail anyway, and we're just going to tap off it over here. And then when we use our bench, presuming nothing else is needed, which it almost never is on the 9 volt side or whatever it is, then we'll see. Basically, this is how we'll find out. Obviously, this isn't even remotely tuned to where it needs to be, so we'll figure this out as we go. This is awesome, innit? I don't know anything about the console. I don't know how it works. We haven't got RF. This is all just figure it out as we go. So power on, 5 volts, and let's see what happens. Bang. You know what I still want is, I wrote the software to interface with the Rigel multimeter. I should interface with the power supply so we can have a same, like, nice UI. Oh, I've got an RF TV. It's literally in that room. I just can't be bothered to get it. Right, 5 volts in, no game. I presume this thing does nothing without a game. And I also have no idea which way the game goes in. Let's find a picture. Sega SG-1000 photos. Let's start with that. Images. Oh no, I had the little zoomy thing. I had the VCR on top of here, but I just removed it. Don't know why I did it, but it was just sat on top of there. So now it's not in the room. Oh, I know why. It was, I took it to my games room to actually use, so I could watch Jurassic Park on VCR, and then never brought it back in. That's what I did. Right, what were we doing? Finding out which way this game goes in. Right, so one photo shows it going in the way you'd expect, so it's not like Atari. It apparently goes in that way. Let's check a few more photos first, in case it's one of them where people just put random photos on. I want to make sure. Yeah, there's photos everywhere. That's definitely the way it goes. So that means we should just put power on and maybe something happens. Maybe something doesn't. I think I've wired all this up right. This needs to come up here so it doesn't keep falling off. And here we go. 5 volts. Off we go. Hey, look at that. Half of the screen disappeared. Hey, simple. I haven't even tuned anything yet. Is that what it's meant to look like? Black and white? I mean, we've tapped off the comp pin, haven't we? Yeah, we have. So the only thing is, maybe the composite and the chroma are mixed. I don't even know, but I don't really need to see much. Like, I'm not that fussed. That's, well, in one way we need to be, because we need to make sure we don't break anything in a sense. So one other thing we can do is, instead of tapping off the composite of the video chip, because there might be chroma mixed in later, let's just go straight to the RF's connection, which passes through that cap and might be mixed in, like the chroma might be mixed in. If not, it might just be a black and white image. So let's see what this does. Yeah, if anyone could, I genuinely want somebody to do me some really cool pixel art for like Dragon Ball Z, because I want to theme my little iron thing to have power levels and Dragon Ball Z theme it. It'll be sick. That'd just be so cool. Every time you pick up your iron, you just go through the transformations. Or is that just me? I think that'd be well cool. And then, do we get something, and do we get any colour? So nothing on that one, but maybe it was because I kind of spammed the 5 volt on and off. If not, nope, helps if you go to the right pin. That's not the right pin anyway. The pin was, I thought that was the right pin. Actually, I swear it was. That over there. No, second pin in. That's probably audio we were tapping on there then. Yeah, I could literally do. I've only made it yesterday, but I could make a little theming system and then give it to you guys to theme. And then we could have some really cool stuff. And then all this kind of thing is going to be linked in with the Stream Studio stuff I'm going to make. So all of the overlays for like the JBC, the multimeters, the chat, the streaming, all that will be like one app then. Oh, this thing keeps falling on the floor. Right, this is on the right pin now. So that's going to have to be tuned. I'll tell you what, let me just take that off a minute. Crack out here, the won't fall. There we go. Nearly still fell after all that. And then what I'll do is probe around, so let's just make sure this has still got video, which I've already forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that pin is video. Yeah, so that's still there. Goes around, up, through. I did all this tracing and I forgot where it all went. That goes to there. Maybe it goes to there. Ooh, another member. No, so it doesn't come on there, but it should still come on here. We presume, yep. And then it bounces over to yonder. That's still there. So we're good to that. Gets to that pin, jumps over to this pin. So yeah, once we get to here, we lose it, but... Ah, nice. 5 months. Well, I need to fix the thing so it doesn't just say memberships. Yeah, show this back on. And then... we go. Let's try and tune the completely untuned system. Where is my little... You know, I haven't tuned a clean RGB in that long. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I was miserable this morning on stream though. I had to work with KeyCAD, and it had already pissed me off because I was meant to be quickly doing the VA45 ribbons, and I'm stopped using Ultium. One, because actually they started charging like a non-perpetual license fee after I've paid them about 10 grand over so many years. But two, because of open sourcing designs and things. I didn't want to have to force you guys to learn Ultium, so I went to KeyCAD, but oh, it's painful. So it's probably the most miserable stream I've been on, I'd say. That's not the right tip size. Here begins the fun. I've lost my little screwdriver. That's the perfect size for... no, there they are. So let's just blindly tune this, and all we're looking for is... This is DC offset, so this is the most prevalent one. To usually get something to show up. And nothing, and it could all... Well, actually, no, that's the only reason it wouldn't work is DC offset. There we go. So DC offset's fully turned off, and still no colour. Oh yeah, Rusty cheered me up though. It was underneath all the time, but if you ever hear like just a constant like in the background, it's just Rusty under my feet snoring. So that doesn't change. Yeah, it must be. I mean, I probably could have just Googled this, but it's obviously a black and white console, I'd say. Oh yeah, it's the thing is, I don't think KeyCAD is that bad. Like when I'm not in a mood with it, because to be honest, it's just my lack of experience with it. It's not that it's that bad. It's bad in a way. In fairness, it is bad in a way. But if I wrote a bit of script and used it more than I am, I actually got time to do that, then it wouldn't be that bad at all. But when you're not in the mood for doing something and you know it can be done easier and you know you own that software, it was just like, I don't know, it's one of them mornings I wasn't in the mood for doing that. Plus I'd got a bit of burnout this morning. I was doing too many things too early, and then that was that. Yeah, shouldn't be black and white based on videos. Maybe composite is mixed inside here, but I mean, well, I can look at the chip. It's got common video, Grom clock. Yeah, no, seems black and white. It could also be that this retro scaler can't convert the color, but either way, we've got the color. I know what I'm doing. It's pretty simple, so I highly doubt we're going to mess something up where we need to see color on that screen to know we haven't knackered color, if you know what I mean. I don't think it's going to be an issue. It's more than likely the retro scaler can't handle it. The game is somebody said they knew it. Load Rider. I won't say Lone Rider, but it's Load Runner. Jeez, get it right, man. Load Runner, not Road Runner. And then we've got an issue with the controller port as well. But let's start with, this reminds me of another controller. What controller is that from? I know that controller. I definitely know that controller from some other console. Yes, it's color. I mean, we can look at the color after if I can, again, famous words, if I can be bothered to figure it out after, because we're not going to do anything that harms the color as such. We are going to socket this chip. Turquoise blue bricks on that game. I mean, have a quick look, see if there's a schematic first. Sega SG-1000 schematics. I can turn that off for now. Yep, there is schematics. Of course, not in a single PDF, individual. Oh, and this is like a GBO schematic where it's not really a schematic. CPU RAM, in-out multiplexing, joypads, PSG, video RAM. Right, so it's got, yeah, this is the full video chip. This TMS. It's got a chroma crystal. I'm going to guess it's this weird one, 10.738, but that'll be deriving chroma from it. Read write integer reset. address video, composite out, RF video. So there's no chroma being mixed in. Should be too good. Yes, there isn't any chroma being mixed in. So this video chip is responsible for that. I mean, why don't I just get the scope out? I keep forgetting I've got all the tools to do this. Let's chuck a ground wire back on. So we'll see on the scope. This is probably be useful for. Wow, look at that power! I just went 20 watts to warm up. I've never seen it. I was just saying I've never seen it go above like 15 watts, and then I saw that. And how much more do you use? Oh, I think I've crashed my. I've crashed my software. This is prototypey. I've literally made it this morning. Oh no, it's just disconnected from Bluetooth. Yeah, just disconnected from Bluetooth. Then I was going to say what's going on. I'm surprised it hasn't crashed yet. I've literally wrote this software last night and this morning. Right, ground on there. Oh, I've taken all the power ones off as well because we're going to socket it. Chuck the power back on a minute. Ground on power, and then we need picoscope. We need this to be gripped on there. I've put everything away, and then of course you guys want to confirm it's clear. I was quite happy that it was black and white, and I've done nothing so far. Right, you go in there. You get back in there. 5 volts is there. This goes over to here, talking to myself a lot. Turn probe on that. 50 right, I think that's everything. I wish this had stopped dropping as well. Every single time. I need to just. I've got that many cables for different probes. Right, 5 volts, we're okay. Power on. Right, we're running. So, PC. PC is there. This is a scope. Probe on there, maybe. There we go. There's no color. So they're lying to you, or this console doesn't have color, or there's a problem. But either way, it was sent and fully working. Let's turn it on its side. I'll show you how I know it's got no color in a minute, but I can tell you straight away, looking at it, that there's no color on that chroma. Single PC Engine GT. Yeah, I do them. It's just whether I know I've got one in for repair coming up. I think it's the next repair. Let me have a look. Whether they're having that screen or not. So here is. Let's go full PC mode a minute. There's the PC. If we want to capture video, so the best way to capture video is pretty much these little dips you're seeing here. These drops. This is the sync low pulse. This is like the start of a full frame. Is it? No, full line. And then each of these are a single line going across the screen. So first thing you want to do is bring this in, usually to 10 to 20 microseconds. So say there, so you just about fit a full line on with a bits either side. Next thing is drop the voltage if you can, if it's already scaled correctly, which this looks like it's mostly done. So we drop the voltage to 2 divs. Now, see all this noise? Oh, actually, tell a lie, it might have chroma. It's just really noisy, so you can't see. See how this is kind of useless? It's just a big blue bar. If you've got this on your scope, go to Digital Signal Processing, turn it on, and activate a 4 meg filter. So this now is filtering like what the TV would see. And see that real clear? We stop it. This real, oh geez, oh yeah, the max scroll does not work on this app. I keep forgetting, so you can't scroll with your mouse. I have to use the bar at the top. So if I come right into this, see that pulse there? That is chroma. So we have chroma. There's the chroma color pulse. So you've got a sync dip here that says this is the black level. Pulls up by should be 150 millivolts when it's terminated, or 300 if not, and it's 300. There's the 4 and there's the 0. So this is already scaled pretty much perfectly fine. Here's the chroma pulse. So we know we've got chroma. And then if I zoom out, this is then a full line of data. Here is like, say, some of that data. So if I zoom in and the Mac completely fucks up my zoom again, zoom out somewhere. So see these pulses here, high, low. You'd see those chroma pulses over. So maybe this little wave here is a chroma pulse we'd have to measure. This makes it, online it says that utilizing Texas blah 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 graphics chip with capable of displaying 16 colors resolution display. Doesn't necessarily help, no, in a way. I mean, there is chroma on here, we've seen the pulse, but is that a chroma signal? Yeah, so 3.5. So that's, you've got chroma coming out, so it's purely my retro tink thing can't display it. So I tell you what, let us plug it into the CRT. It's just going to be a retro tink, use. It's going to be a retro scaler issue, I'd say. So we don't need that now. We can close down that. It's still running, isn't it? Still connected. Oh, sorry, I've disconnected the whole clean comp. We'll attach it again when I'm done. But we've seen it on the scope. There is composite and there is colour. So when we've socketed this chip, we'll come back and get it on the CRT so we can see colour. Otherwise, I just keep attaching wires for no reason, and this was not meant to be a super long stream because I've got people here fixing the aircon at the minute, and I'm starving, and I've already streamed today and done other work. So I don't want to do too much back and forwarding. So socket time. We need a socket for this chip. So let's see what I can find that fits that. I might have to have a mid-coffee break as well. I've hardly had any coffee today. Hopefully the pretty much universal socket that fits everything in a retro console, yay, is the same. Good old faithful. I mean, this socket pretty much is almost every chip ever made, I'm sure, in the 80s. AC I fit it myself originally at the old house, and then when I moved a couple of times I just got aircon people because all the regs come in and you weren't allowed to buy gas and try and kill yourself. So I now use algae. It's above my head. Right, so desoldering these, what were we, our famous trick was desolder pump, wasn't it, I think? Desolder pump and JBC. So on there, pump, yay, that's what we'll do. And it saves all of the wasting desolder wick, which actually I've just realised I've got the desolder wick in now. I've got the good wick, it come today. So, wow, that's a fine focus. We will list that. I will list it on the website in a few days when I get time. Yeah, so my idea, I've got this B-Iron from JBC, so they sponsoring me for 2 years, and I've got this awesome B-Iron 2, what you see. I've made the software down here as well, that's now showing on stream. But I got this iron as part of the sponsorship, and then of course realised how good it was, so I wanted more. So they wouldn't send me more stuff directly for free, understandably, because the expensive stuff. And I'm only a tiny channel and not that many people see it. But what I did is brought a bunch of stuff worth thousands, and they give me a massive discount. So I've now got a load more stuff coming, but I still want more. So my thought is show them how cool this app is I've made that overlays on stream and shows me all the JBC temperatures and things, and we'll enhance it with more stuff. And then see if they want to have it as the official app, or I can work with them to do it however they like, because this isn't the app. The app is, if I bring this over here, minimize that, show you my desktop. This is the app I've made, so it's got, see how it says heating at the top, and then if I put the iron down, I presume, I haven't tested much of this, that'll go to hibernating in a minute, probably after 10 seconds, I think it is. It's got the battery percentage, it's got the real temperature. There we go, so that drops, and I presume the heating maybe I haven't plumbed in at the top there, that should say hibernating, so that's a bug, but I'll fix that. But you can see the temperature drops, the power drops, the battery's like correct. Pick it back up, power kicks in, and then I've got like a nice side menu where you can rename your iron, check for the updates, change the temperatures, set everything. This is all pulled off the iron, so I've fully reverse engineered all the code from it, and it's all real and works. But now the graph turns red when it's up to temperature, and the minute it's not exactly at temperature, see how it's dropped below by 2 degrees, it goes orange. If I maybe put it in the stand and lift it out, if it spikes above, so it overshoots, it goes purple. So that kicks back in, you'll probably see that graph go purple. See, it hasn't overshot this time. But if I lowered the temperature, see how it's gone purple? Because I've purposely lowered the temperature and it's forced it to go over temp. So all these little things are, I think, really useful for when you're using the iron. And it's actually usable and useful, if that makes sense. So when we're on stream here now, the most useful info to me for the iron was how much power is it pumping in. So I know when it's finished pumping power in and the joint is slightly hot enough. So see that? And it pumps power in and then stops at 6.7. I know it's warmed up enough. So pump in, look at that go up, and then once it stabilizes, you can desolder the pump. So that's what I'm looking at. I can even then integrate that with when the app detects that the wattage, the amount of power being pushed in, stabilizes, we could make like an audible beep to hint that, you know, the connection's ready, you know, or likely flowed correctly based on the feedback. So it's stuff like that I think is really useful, especially the overlay for stream. So the idea is to say to them, do you want all this app that I've made for free and make it official if you like, and just maybe send me something else for free, and I'll just pick off the website, like a solder tip cleaner and you know, some other stuff. I don't think JBC sell out to the UK directly. There's a place called Kaiser Tech, I think it's called, something like that, that I've noticed sell quite a lot of the high-end stuff I end up buying. I think it's Kaiser Tech. That might be the camera stuff, but I'm sure it is the soldering stuff. So I could probably get a wholesaler / retailer account in a sense, if I really wanted to sell them on Retro 6, but I don't know how many people would come to Retro 6 to buy very expensive soldering irons. It's like, it's one of them. Are you expected to come there to buy an iron? And you won't make that much on resale. Like with major companies, they don't really need you to sell their products. So you're more, you know, well, I don't know because I haven't approached them for that, but normally you won't make much on it because they basically don't need you. And if anything, their customers are coming to your website and they treat that as they're doing you the favor. You know, that's, I'm not speaking for JBC, that's from experience with other companies. That's what I'd presume pretty much, that it wouldn't be worth my while basically to resell. Right, so that's all them pins sorted. You can see it's basically, oh, well zoomed in here. Forgot I was zoomed in. This might be fully off now, or we might need, yep, so it's pretty much, yep, it's all fully desoldered. So that can come out. Socket can go in. I presume we might have the holes not cleaned out enough for this to go in, but we'll soon find out. Perfect. So that's socketed. And we want to solder this back in. Wow, I am thirsty as I'm definitely going to have to. I think once I put this chip in, I'm just going to quickly make a coffee. And then I'll come back and carry on. Where's a sponge or something to rest this up with? The other thing we've got to look at is the controller port. So I'm not sure, like I say, how far I'll get. Oh, it's only 4:30. Yeah, I think we'll get it done. I thought it was way later. It's been a long day. Get that on. So yeah, coffee break and then fix the controller port, and then I guess show you guys the composite. We'll figure out why we're not seeing colour. Put the extractor on instead of just snorting fumes. Oh, I just realised as well, is that Nanotech the one that's obviously on YouTube that's doing the microscope reviews in a minute? I think I dropped a message on your, like a comment on your video, and then I went back the other day and I couldn't see it anywhere. So I don't know whether I forgot to press send, but I was going to say that mechanic microscope you're having reflection with, I basically just said like the reflection will be poor anti, as silly as it sounds, poor anti-reflective coating on the internal lenses, because all microscopes have that automatic like internal reflections, but they put anti-reflective coating on the lenses for that reason. And I pretty much just said that'll be poor coating, but then the one you were looking at sounded almost like it was a common main objective scope, which I keep looking at buying, but they're like $7,000. But it wasn't called that in yours. It had got parfocal, but I can't think what they called it on yours, but they purposely hadn't called it a common main objective, a CMO. So I think I also, well, actually I didn't ask, I just said that like I was wondering, I wonder what the difference is or whether it really is a CMO. It was just weird how, considering CMOs are like classed as really the best for possible optics visually, if that's what it is, why have they not called it that? Because that would be a big selling point. So I don't think it will be, but the fact it's got, by the sounds of it, one lens was pretty cool, and I liked the parfocal side of it. But the one I'm looking at is wrong input mode. Tries it was on. Well, actually, I say that. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't actually even bother looking what it's on auto at the minute, so it might well have just flipped to the wrong setting. We'll see. Yeah, the scope I'm looking at the minute, I think I've ended up going to the, just like, if I ever buy another one, I'll probably go to the Leica. I think it'll just keep ending up back at that decision. Leica S9D, I think it was, but it isn't a CMO, but I think it's got everything else. It's got like the parfocal stuff, which just basically means when you zoom in and out, it doesn't lose focus. And then combine that with that Blackmagic overhead, and it's going to be insane. Right, so that's all the work the customer wanted doing in terms of there. That's socketing. He wants this fixing, which is probably just going to be, hopefully, a bad connection or bad controller. We'll find out. But let's get this back on now then. Let's see if we can get some colour and check everything still works. So the chip's there. See if I can remember what I did minutes ago. Overhead. That's there. And let's go power and ground. Slightly out of focus. I'm sure the focus depth on this thing's reduced a bit. Ground was here, I think. Power was here. The video, I don't think it's going to add video chroma here. We tapped in here, but we probed here. But I'm still going to just go on this one, because I'm sure this will be still outputting the chroma from there. That's that. Oh, this cable. Let's get some lead weight on here. Keep this down because it keeps falling off. There we go. Now we need the power and ground for the 5 volts. Yeah, it's good as well because you don't have to ask me what temperature the iron is, because it permanently says it. That's the ground, 5 volts. Oh, I didn't tap 5 volt on the thin wire there. I put the thin wire on there, and then the full 5 volts on there, just so it's out the way of other things. That's it. Ground and 5 volts. And then let's see what we're like. So we have that on there, that on there, ground there. Game needs to go in, and 5 volts needs to go here. 5 volts is there. That's the right wire. Go. Right, then, so we obviously won't get colour now, and let's have a look. We are on. Oh, you're right. We're on YPBB01. It's decided it thinks it's a composite signal. There we go. Ta-da! Mystery solved. Thanks, guys. I never would have bothered even looking down there. Instead, I got the probe out to prove there was colour on, instead of just looking at the buttons. That's pretty much usual. Right, I'm going to get a coffee because I'm absolutely gasping, so I'll leave that one there. You guys tell people I'm away if people ask. I can't be bothered even write a busy note at the minute. So I'll leave that on screen so you know it's running. I'll be back in a sec. That's what we need. Rusty's just got out of bed for a bit of free chicken on the pass-through. Right, I haven't bothered wiring the sound in. Of course, I've knocked the cable doing that. Maybe power off, power on. One thing we didn't check. I hope this is now where I've messed something up coming back in and knocking something. What if I messed up? Or is it just going to be the receiver doesn't like it now? Yeah, what shall we start with? Get the Red Bull done. Why was it working and I've come and touched it and I broke it? Let me turn this off. Back on. Oh, why does this do it every time? I don't like this retro scaler anymore. I had high praise for you until you kept doing this. Or was it maybe... That's fine. Power's on. That's fine. I barely touched you. Why have you died? It's going to make me get the scope out again, isn't it? For no reason. Yeah, power's identical, 0.5 amp at 5 volts. It's probably just this retro scaler thing. Let me turn on the CRT, that's how I'll tell. Always keep a CRT at hand because you can never truly trust these receivers. They're never always guaranteed, whereas a CRT, now that's not loading, so it's probably just a dirty cartridge port, somewhat obvious. Oh no, wicked. So, well, no, the video's there, but it's dodgy, so probably do need to tune the receiver slightly. Let me try tuning this. I don't know. See, it knows I've gone for a break, so it's decided it's see, it's nearly stable, but it's not stable. Maybe just a wire coming loose. Maybe. Okay, that's weird. Gone from perfectly stable to coming in and slightly knocking something. I mean, you can't even see anything on there, but on the CRT you can see the images there, but wonky. Wonder if it's this being connected. No. Oh, well, for one, it didn't work on the screen because of that. It's decided to switch back to the other mode, but composite. Yeah, doesn't like any of that. Great start. I'll just drink more coffee then, I think, until we figure something out. Power draw's fine, nothing's hot. Probably got to get the scope out now for no reason. I literally come in and barely touched. Well, you can't even see where I touched. I just got the cable held on here so it doesn't fall off. Come in and just, if anything, that just slightly wiggled. No real reason to lose signal. Let's leave it powered off then, and then we'll see. See you in a minute. Get some caffeine in me. I suppose we need to look at the schematic. Did I say I found a schematic? I didn't. Sega SG-1000 schematic. Could do with. Now, is this a Mark II or a Mark I? Or was that what? Was this? Oh, the Sega Mark III was the thing I had in, wasn't it? The last one that I thought was an SG-1000. So the SG-1000. Ah, somebody's fully remade the board. Where's the schematic? I found the schematic first time last time. Now I can't find it. I don't think. I was just about to say I don't think Facebook's working because there's no comments on there, but I think just a lot of the time people don't comment. Manual. Why can't I find them? I need to put the schematics on my site. I can never find them. Right, let's have plenty of time off. Let's see what happens. Nope, no different. It's almost like we've got a background, you know that is. It's that's on. Rounds on there. Let's try moving the video over to the RF port, which I think we managed to tune, didn't we? Let's go over to the RF input. See if we have more luck there. And tap this in again. I know we're going to have to now tune the pins, but I think I turned that all the way. Yeah, no different on there, so definitely got some. Like some sync issue. I reckon this video chip is maybe wanting to remove and insert again. I mean, it come off lovely and clean, and there's no issues with it, but let's give it some IPA. And like I say, it's funny how it sat there the whole time perfectly fine as well. All the pins look, yeah, fairly clean. I mean, the black on the edges, but the solder on the pins is clean. It's literally punishing me because I went and grabbed some coffee. The only explanation. Right, nothing was wrong. Get a drink. Come back. It was even on screen when I was there, then tapped it and it went off. Wow, yeah, we're gonna have to get the scope out. It's just the signal's there, but it's completely foofy. I wonder if there's a... Yeah, the on-off switch doesn't change anything bypassing it. The input channels are no different. I mean, the only thing is maybe the RF. The RF is interfering with the composite, still being, yeah, bad ground. So all I've done is gripped on my probe, and ta-da, so we've got a bad ground somewhere. Or just the pure noise on this signal, because it's quite a noisy signal, and putting the probe on ground is enough to clean the signal up. So when you saw all that noise on the scope, you know, that real heavy noise, when you put a probe's ground on, you're grounding this through extra capacitance. So probably without this on, so if I just literally remove the ground probe, we're not going to see video. And then grip it back on and it'll stabilize enough. So we would just leave the probe on for now. It's the quickest fix. But that's, I wouldn't worry about that. That's just the way this setup is with all the flying ground wires and stuff. What were we doing? We got colour. We wanted to play the game now, didn't we? I need to know how to play the game so we can test. Something's broke on the game, isn't it? I don't know what it was. Let's get the notes up. Oh yeah, if Ember sponsored me, I'd grab 3 of the mugs. It might be worth it. It might be worth trying it. Work consoles. Bespoke work. Constantly triggering up. Controller constantly triggering up. Right, well, the problem is I don't know what the game should do or what we even do. So, does anybody know anything about this? Oh, there's me. So, there's me moving, just about. We're going to have to watch a video of somebody playing this. Left, right. Up and down don't seem to do anything, but I guess when you get to ladders, you'll climb up the ladders, won't you? Oh, of course he's going to come as well. You fall down there. Run away. Oh, yeah, so when we get to a ladder, it's just going up the ladder. Basically, so that's how we test. And then I presume that's going to climb up. Yeah, so the issue is quite clear that we have an up press, but I've got no idea how this works. So let's take a look at a schematic considering it's available. What I need to do is dump all these schematics to the desktop, make a PDF, and then I can upload it to the wiki. So give me a second, and then we've got a nice, easy, single scrollable PDF. Yeah, I think that's I'm massively lacking in caffeine today. I think it's like only the second coffee I've had 3 teas in fairness, but it's like the second coffee I've had. Right, that's all of that. Images to PDF. I can't be bothered to do it. I know I had oh yeah, of course there's a thing called AI these days. Let's go to Gemini. I'm sure that'll do it for me when I'm lazy. Let's find out. Although I do know AI is acting absolutely dog shit for the last few days. It's probably with that SpaceX stuff, isn't it? I think what SpaceX paired with Claude or something, so they can offer. Because the problem with AI is that it's just massively money loss, isn't it? It costs them more to do than they make by billions. So it's one of them. In the early stages, offer it for what seems low, even though it's like hundreds of pounds a month for most people. It's still making a loss at that. So we're seeing the shift now, I think, into low quality AI, and then there'll be like, I'm sure there'll be like £1,000 a month licenses soon. Convert these images into a single PDF with a single image stretched out full per page. And let's see what this does. Is my free Gemini going to do it for me? Yeah, honestly, I think AI is good for a lot of stuff, but we do need to be careful. It is lethal. It's done its job here, though. Nice. Save that. Download. Close. Right, so we don't need the pin out of the video chip now, I don't think. I'm going to close the Facebook. Actually, I better leave that Facebook open in case it closes the stream. Delete them. Go to desktop. Downloads. There we go. So now I have a single PDF. I just realised I haven't been sharing my screen this whole time. I thought you were looking at what I was doing. Never mind. Right, so now we have... Oh, Mac, I still need to make a PDF viewer. Yours is shite. PC, there we go. So we now got the schematic. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. That's all we've got to work with. Right, so what we need to figure out is controller first. So controller's clearly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pins we're looking for. That's 8 pins. That's a maybe. There's definitely 7 pins there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. D. I mean, it might even not be represented on here either. And it could be this thing, maybe. No. No. There we go. The thing that says joy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why are you lying? There's 2 more pins. 2 of them are ground and they're not a connector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, it's got to be this one surely then. So, where's the thing? Oof, there we go. So it has to be this one here, CN, you'd think, because there's 7 pins going to the joystick. This one says joy, but it says joy 2. That'll be probably some connector at the back. There's like a, we go to here. It's like a connector on the back of this. So I'm guessing somewhere there, maybe this section of the pinout, maybe, or this, I don't know. But we only care about this connector. So this surely has to be it. And if we look at this, basically there's pull-up resistors here. So we want to check all of these then, I guess. If not, it's all logic shifting. I hope these are simple pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm kind of hoping they're just direct highs and lows, but they look like the fact that they've got a toggle output. Let's trace this a bit. 1 goes over down to there. B goes to con, whatever con is. A goes to, right, so this is going to be switching, actually, yeah. This is going to be switching between different sources. So this toggle coming from somewhere else, probably the controller chip, is going to come into here. What these are is basically the Y signal is the input signal, and then the A and B is either Y either goes to A or Y goes to B. It's like a physical switch, and the switch is based on this G or this A and B. So Joy-Con select there, you can see, and then A and B is another select, which my JBC thing's in the way, so we can't see, but it says A0. So when the memory's at A0, it sends the output to A or B. So we can see A here goes to the joystick, B goes to con, which has nothing to do with it. A goes to joystick and nowhere else, A nowhere else, A nowhere else. But then this one, yeah, so really the only thing that's changing is the B of the first pin goes to con. But either way, the fact it can toggle, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a pulsing line, so we're probably going to have to get the scope on it to see. But my guess is going to be, well, either one of the resistors is bad. I'd say one of the pull-up resistors is bad, or IC21 is bad, because all the other pins work. I can't see being much else. It's going to be one of these two logic chips, the pull-up resistors, or a break somewhere. So, let's move these liquids out of the way, actually, before we start working again. So we need to see IC21, IC18, which interestingly are miles out the way. So, where's my mouse? Oh yeah, the weather here is crazy. It's just up and down everywhere. Have I still got this powered on? Yeah, I have. So we could just probe it quickly, just to see. Well, basically we have the down here, them two ICs for the joystick. So I'm not sure what the hold is doing then. So maybe the hold. Anyone know what hold does? What have we tried? Why have you gone off again? Off. On. I hadn't even got anywhere yet. I was just touching things on the board. Right, so hold. What's hold do? It's doing nothing. Other than making me screen flicker a lot. Does hold a reset maybe? Pauses the game, doesn't seem to. Oh yeah, so you hold, it pauses, but then why is it flicker? I think it's just the background, me moving this. You press it again. Oh, so it's an on-off, just really debouncy. Right, so let's probe these pins then. Let's get picoscope back up. Then we can get PC back on. And we don't know which pin's which yet. Probably don't really care so much because we're either going to see the issue or we're not. If we see the issue, we know which pin it is. And we can also check if it is just a physical... Where's my oscilloscope? There. We can see if it's just a physical up and down but with a pulse. So, probably don't want that fast. 5-volt logic, right, so one of these pins... There we go, we're going to have to go to 10 volt. Right, so that's... basically, I'm just going to work my way up there, so one of them is on. I'm guessing they're all going to sit on, maybe. Oh yeah, this is good then. So they all look like they're actually just sitting high. And I'm guessing if we press one of these, maybe. There you go. So it's just a high and low. So if I move left, it drops. And I just turn the trigger off so this isn't making slow reactions. There we go. So if I press left, there we go. So this is nice and simple. So left is the third pin up. The first pin, that one, yeah, it's just the controller's pretty dirty, I think. That one seems, oh, loads of messages, wasn't even reading. Some games it resets it, similar to Sonic, yeah, ChatGPT talk. I want to say pin 2 is this button, but I think this one, yeah, there we go. It is just that button's really dirty. So the left button is pin 1. Hang on, no, pin 2, sorry. Pin 1 is... none of them. Maybe pin 1 is up. No, okay, pin 1 is this side. Pin 1 is right, if anyone wants to make notes, and we'll put it on the wiki. Right side button is pin 1. Left side button is pin 2. Just, again, these are really, really dirty. No, like really worn out, so. There we go. Third pin up was left, I think. No, right. Third pin up is right. It's probably on the internet anyway, but either way. Fourth pin up is left. Fifth pin up is down. Sixth pin up, there you go. Sixth pin up is already down and we haven't pressed it yet. And you can see it's trying to go lower. So 6th pin up is up, and that's what's knackered. And the top one is probably ground because there's no buttons left. So we have right button, left button, right, left, down, up, and then I'm going to presume ground and it's black. So let's test that. So we've obviously got, that's looking like a logic chip failure. Or the pull-up resistor. So let's disconnect. Disconnect power now, yeah. Let's take power off a minute so we can safely move this around a bit. Take the game out. And we are looking then at, let's go over here. So these are the ones we're looking at. So we have right button, left button, right, left, down, up, and let's confirm this is ground first. Flip over. Yeah, you can see it goes around to ground. So we're right. So this is the problem child here. So he goes over, top trace, blah blah blah, no damage to the trace. We're 3 pins in. This is where we go cross-eyed, goes along to here. So 2nd pin there. This one here is going to be interesting. Oh, this wire harness. So this wire harness here. It's the 2nd one up, as long as it does all the wires. So somebody, look what's happened here. Someone's already bodged this one in. So what do you think that's going to be? I think F is going to be knackered when we go over to here. And just got a break. So F is bottom pin. So I can almost guarantee what this is going to be. Well, it probably won't be. That'd be too simple. It's going to be this, a pull-up resistor, or that logic chip. But we've got 2nd pin up there. Should be 1st pin there. Nope, so it's not that. So we make it over to there. So that one ruled out. And flip back over. So now we get to there. So we might as well carry on from here. So this pin here is the one, goes along around to here. Now we've got 2 options where we go. So we have here, and I'm getting confused already. Where's it gone? Here and here. So this is almost definitely a resistor going over here, I'd say. This is something going to ground. So it's probably going to be a voltage divider, which, to be honest, I keep forgetting we have schematic. Interestingly, schematic doesn't tell us that's what happens. It tells us there's a pull-up resistor and it goes to a logic chip. But we have clearly a pull-up resistor, and we have something else hiding here, which is definitely something not on the schematic. So there, 2 pins there. It's a resistor that way, and the other way is a lone resistor. Oh, it's a jumper wire. So schematic isn't lying. It's because it's a single layer board. Where is it? This one. I don't know which way around it is now. One of these is a jumper wire. One's a resistor. Let's just test which one's like pure continuity, and then we'll know which is which. Either this one's the jumper. Nope, because it's going to, well, that'll be 5 volts then. So this is the jumper. So it jumpers over to there, goes around and into the logic chip. So that pin makes its way to there. So connections are solid. Question is the resistor good? If the resistor's good, we've got a bad logic chip. Yeah, 1K resistor. So I mean, it says it should be 4.7 on the schematic, but that won't matter. It's going to be a pull-up resistor either way, and the one next to it. See, now the one next to it's 4.7, but a 1K. Why would it be 1K? Other than the schematic again, kind of lying, because it's not an array, which it already says it is on the schematic, the way it's drawn. But they are. Oh, I know why, because the chip's knackered, isn't it? So the resistor is The resistor is a 4.7k, because look at the bands. So that's a 4.7k band, but we're measuring 1k over there. So the only way that I'd measure 1k is if there's a fault somewhere else on that line. Well, the line goes nowhere but into the controller. Actually, we haven't proven or eliminated that it is the chip just yet. So it's either going to be the logic chip it went to, which was out there, over there, down to there, doop doop doop, into that pin. So, oh, jumper wires. I thought that was a chip. We've got to carry on tracing. That to there, that over to there. Second pin, no, it goes backwards to here. Second pin down on IC18. So that means on here, second pin down on IC18, it is, yeah, pin 6. So it matches on the schematic here. These are the pins. So CN01, this is where it is, right button, left button, up, down, blah, 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 whatever it was. So this here is what we just pinned out. And we know pin 6 here is the up. So it goes up to here. So either IC18 is bad, or the one other thing we haven't accounted for, which is not normally the case to be forced down, is this could be pulling it down. So there's two ways to do with this. One, we just take the chip out, IC18, and swap him, which I should have. It's a basic logic chip. The other choice is we disconnect the controller and see if the up still reads as pressed. So considering that just pulls out, that now allows us to drink some Red Bull and then measure that resistor again. And then basically we've got an answer. It's either going to be measuring correct and it's the joystick, which is, I don't want it to be that because I don't want to have to try and fix a joystick. Whereas if it's the logic chip, that's the problem. So let's flip this over and measure. No, back in resistance mode actually. That resistor went, where did it go? Through there. That went over to there, and this one went to there. So this is 4.7k. Nope, cool, still broken. Are you fixing or replicating? We are fixing one of these that I've never seen before and know nothing about, but nearly brought one. The Sega SG-1000. So it's got, based on that, everything we now know from there, without even having to test, this is the bad chip. So the reason it doesn't work is going to be this chip. And we know that from process of elimination. We don't want to melt this, so we've got to be careful where we are working, but we're just going to do what we just did on the last one, which is flip this over and we will desolder pump these off. So that's what we're going to do here. Make sure I take the right chip off. This one, because either way this is kaput. I moved from EE to software because I hate soldering. Yeah, I went from software to soldering, but I'll do both. So I wrote this little software that you see the JBC popping up on. So we've got like a nice little visual. Now the blue bar going up is the power that the soldering iron's pushing into the circuit. And the little red border around the outside is the tip's current temperature. So we know it's up to temp. And I'm going to try and, wouldn't it be awesome if JBC actually liked it and decided to have it as their official app? And then I could say I made an app for JBC, that'd be pretty sick. Oh yeah, if you honestly want the iron, just let me know and I'll try. Even if it's just like, can I get a discount for me, and I'll buy it for you if it has to be that way. But I am trying to work on, because I keep saying I've got people that watch the stream that will genuinely get, you know, buy one. Not everybody, they're expensive, but the discount really helps. So I'll ask them again when I approach them with the software to say, like, I honestly think we could push some sales if we can get some discounts. Because that'd be cool then. But yeah, they're honestly crazy. Like, that's why I've spent my own money buying more already. That should be fully loose. And then you can have the software as well. I'll be releasing the software either way, whether they want it as the official one or I just release it one way or the other. Oh yeah, it's the reason I like the soldering stuff. Not so much that I like the soldering, I like the problem solving. That's pretty much what I like in anything I do. It's probably why I liked software when I was young, is solving problems, but it's not for everybody. Right, so that should come out nice and easy. And we need a 74 LS-257. And you know how sad I am, I've got that within arm's reach, I'm sure. I've got every variant of it as well. I've got the fast version probably. So, look at that. Of all the things in the world, I have a little tub, and we're after 257, is it? You watch out. Ironically, we won't have one. Oh, look at that. Ta-da. Actually, why don't we socket it while we're here? Why not? Do we have a socket for it? Oh, look at that, we do. Just rated 135 viewers. Oh no. Is that thing where we get loads of random viewers now? Just as we fix the board, we better break it again. Isn't that what happened last time? And Big Bro had just left. Right, so I'll tell you what, before we fit this down, let's prove that we fixed it. So we need to measure that resistor again. Oh Jesus, it's going to be pinging off now, isn't it? So we need to prove. Where's the pin gone? Around up this resistor. So, oh nice, 300 odd followers. Oh, is it Joey Does Tech that's done it? Wait, I think we were meant to be doing a little thing together, weren't we? We said last time. Well, I don't know if we told anybody, but I said, like, do you want to do a bit of a double up thing, if you know what I mean, to introduce each other's viewers, and then we both got busy and never really followed up. Right, so I'm just trying to rest this so I can actually probe it. This resistor is the one that was measuring 1K before we took the chip off. So this should now be, if me theory's right, this will be 4.7K. Yep, so 4.7K. So you're gonna have to take my word for that, but I've just measured that with the multimeter. So that means the issue was definitely this chip was bad, and this magic one I've got in a cupboard is gonna work. So it's not the same brand, but it's still a 74 LS-257. So the only difference is you've got, I can kind of show you, let me just get the tubs out. There's multiple versions of the logic chips, but it doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter, I'll lie. This is you know the EverDrive, when I pointed out the problems they got with one of their pins, and they didn't seem to care or didn't want to fix it. Basically, with these, we have, this is why I made this kit. We've got, zoom out. I made these, so again, they look like as if you can buy these. This is a kit I've made. So I just brought all these because I wanted them all to hand. So you've got CMOS logic and you've got TTL logic. So there's an article on the wiki, obviously, that explains the difference. But in fact, let me show you the wiki. Let's do it properly, I suppose. And then you can see. So we don't need the scope now because that's going to be working. We need to open up Tinterweb, go to the wiki, share the screen. And then if we go to video standard, well, let's go full screen actually. Go to video standards. If you ever want to learn stuff, I've kind of put stuff on the wiki for learning. And in here, voltage levels. So you scroll down and see voltage levels here. No, actually, I'm talking BS. It's in logic chip families at the top. Learn electronics. Nope, don't even know my own wiki. I'll find it in a minute. There we go. Digital logic levels. So that article there. You've got here TTL logic as 5 volt and CMOS logic as 5 volt. But the key difference is, well, they can be 3.3 as well. The key difference is this grey area. So TTL logic will accept a valid high signal at around 2.4 volts. The grey is, 1, it's an unknown region, and 2, you shouldn't be leaving a signal in that zone. If you leave a signal in that zone, the chip is going to pull 100 times more current than it should do. Now, it sounds like a lot, but you're still talking milliamps, but it's still not good for the chip. CMOS logic, on the other hand, is a lot more strict on where it needs the high and low. So the CMOS logic on the chips is, where's my mouse? CMOS logic here, you can see it has a different designator, so 74HC. Have you ever wondered what the difference was? 74 is the family of chips. The end digit, like 06, 257, and all that good stuff, is the type of logic chip it is, whether it's an AND gate, an OR gate, a buffer, all that stuff. And the code in the middle, HC, that means it's a CMOS logic chip. Then for the TTL logic, see how you've got 74F? We could use one of these, no problem. But the one that the board's using is 74 ALS. So ALS is your standard TTL logic. But if we were doing anything like fast clock signals, you could replace it with a F series, and that's the same. It's still TTL logic. What we couldn't replace it with, or we shouldn't, is the CMOS chip, because then, with how noisy this board is, the high logic will probably get mistreated. So that's basic CMOS logic stuff, if anybody cares about that. So now, all we've got to do is solder it on, and I presume this game will work. That's the theory anyway. Let's see. Everything's telling us that though. We have tested and proven that. Right. Oh, shit. I just noticed the TikTok. 80. I forgot about that for a minute. 80 viewers. It's the highest we've ever had on TikTok now. TikTok, geez. Twitch. So we'll have to thank Joey Does Tech. I've been watching the... Well, I watched a few of you doing the garage thing, and then I've never seen it pop up again of you. Or maybe it's just not coming up on my feed. I just wondered whether... I saw you like... Oh, actually. Wrong socket size or a pin short. Yeah, it could have like raided and gone. I saw like... yeah, 1 pin short. Let's get another one. I saw like he's doing his garage up to work from, and then it like showed up for a few feeds, and then I haven't seen it for a good while. So I don't know whether there hasn't been any other videos, but I don't know how he pumps out so many videos. I don't. I suppose it's when you're doing it full time, like that's literally the full time thing. But still, how many videos he gets pushed out is impressive. I'm lucky to get a video a week sometimes. There we go. So we got that socket right this time. Let's try again. Oh yeah, I remember watching him like literally from the start, where he was doing it before he quit his job, and is actually, I think he mentioned he uses JBC at his previous job, so he'll know how good these tips are already. I'm surprised he hasn't brought one, to be honest. I could probably get him sponsored by JBC anyway. Now I'm sponsored by them. Could probably easily get him a sponsorship there. And then he could use this cool overlay and cross-promote my channel. Little JBC overlay banner. Oh, let's get this on camera nicely. Zoom in. Full focus. There we go. Boom. Oh yeah, why not? I don't get the thing when people don't want to help other people. To be honest, I only do this because I like doing it. There's no other reason I do this job. That's one thing I say with the retro is retro and repairs. Especially if you're a software guy, I could make a week's wage what I make doing this retro in 2 hours in software all day long. So don't do this job if you're in it for the money. You do it because you like it, or you're daft. One or the other. You either really like what you're doing, or you're a bit silly, because it's not a mega paying business no matter what you do, like the repairs and that. But I genuinely enjoy doing it, so why not? So last bit is putting this chip in. Wow, look at the focus point landed perfectly on that power LED. Go to there. And the only problem with these sockets, you'll see, this is a new chip, so it shouldn't be too bad, but when you take an old chip out, like the one we did just, and you try and get this back in, kind of putting that in and lining it up, you have to really get all of these pins in line. So see that one's slightly out. You've got to have the pins so lined up, so you get them on one side, try and wiggle and get them to lock in. There we go. And then when it locks in one side, see how far they are at the other. So I tend to push on the top here and move them over a bit, and then I take them out of that side, rest them in this side, and then push this way as well. And then when they just line up, they go in. So a bit of an art to it. I'm in software and didn't see the money either. See, I don't know how, because yeah, I don't know how, to be honest. I've done software since I was like 10. And the money back then was, I don't know, probably, well, not when I was 10. I was working for myself, in the ironic sense that I was just making games and learning Flash. And then I think by 14 I started actually selling things. I was doing wedding photography and website design, and actually I had clients and was selling. But then when I did a stint of working for people in software as well, from like probably 18 to 21 maybe. And I think the money then was like 25-30 grand, but now software, when I was employing people a few years ago, I'm going to ship dinner with the family, but we'll catch up later on. Ah, yeah, cool. So you are in. Thanks for the little raid as well. I should get a little award now on Twitch for the most viewers, but then I'll never break that now. So I won't get my little badge when I manage to get 12 viewers anymore, because it's going to be, I've got to hit 80. But yeah, if you wanted to get JBC sponsory stuff, I can almost definitely get you in touch and get you free stuff if you want. Yeah, I see. It's funny, I make so many people in the software that don't like it. I've always liked it. I'm a bit bored by it now because I've done it for so long. And there's like no challenge. That's my problem. I like challenge, and if there's no challenge, then like I say, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in really anything I do for the money. We all like to make it, but it's because I'm not in it for the money. When there's no challenge, I get bored. That's why I keep making stuff like this JBC overlay and stream software, just to keep the excitement going. Right, what are we doing? We just need to power this up, don't we? So this should, if that's on, this is all in, PC goes on. No, not PC, HDMI goes on. presuming... Oh, and then we're probably going to have to put the probe in so we can actually see anything, unless we've magically fixed the ground. Okay, ground's now magically fixed. We've done nothing. You know what? I wonder if that chip was in some way related to the bad video. I can't see how much. Yeah, so... This money, not exactly megabucks of cut. Yeah, I suppose that's the other point. Like, you can... Oh, we need to plug the controller in. You can have the amount you must have to earn now. I suppose I'm fortunate because I made most of my cash. Well, I'm making more now than I've probably ever made. But I had a good period for years, last 5 or 6 years when starting retro, where I was earning not even... Well, I basically didn't take a wage. There we go. So now we've got up and down working. I basically didn't take a wage out of retro for like 4 years. 4 out of the 7 years I didn't take any money. And we even struggled at some point. I put about 100 grand of my own money in. But like I say, I did it because I liked it. I employed all my family, my friends, did it for the love, opened stores up, opened a printing shop, you know, just enjoying doing it. I didn't need to, but that's what I chose to do. And then over the last few years, we figured out what worked and what didn't and turned it into profit. And now it's profitable after that. It's, you know, it's not bad money now, the retro in a way, but I can always earn more money in software. So, wow, that button is really bad. So, you're meant to press them to dig holes, clearly. I might have to service this controller. This is terrible. Let's service this. But either way, we fixed the problem. So it was that chip. So let's service this controller, because I can't stand how bad that controller is. Yeah, so I can't remember what I was saying now. Basically, do the job you enjoy, not for the money. But yeah, the amount of money you have to earn in software or in any job to kind of pay for today's living is insane. Like, you can go from, you can have a 50 grand job, you can have an 80 grand job, you can have a 140 grand job. There's not a massive difference in between it all. It sounds like there is, but honestly, like if you take like 280 grand, say, as a wage, you think, oh yeah, it's going to be tons. Well, it isn't in one way, but at 280 grand, the tax man's going to take, zoom out, the tax man is going to take like £11,000 off your month nearly, and you're going to take home like 9. Whereas if you earn, say, 100 grand, then you're going to take home maybe 6 instead of 9. But so, like, I don't know, they're both like high wages. Wow, it's just got paper in. Wow. That is never. Don't tell me that's the official controller, just paper. But yeah, money doesn't go as far as you think, and doesn't make you as happy as you think. It's always good to have money, but I've always said I could give somebody £1 million that's not had £1 million, and it'll either be gone in 6 months, or the hype rises and then levels out, and nothing makes you overly happy or overly sad. Everything balances back out. So you've got to find pleasure in what you do, basically. It's so ironic because people always say, oh, if you've got money, that's how you think. But I've thought that all the way through my life, even when I've not had money. Genuinely just try and enjoy what you do, basically. The only thing is, the more you earn, the more you hate paying the tax bill, because it gets ridiculous. Like, my tax bill is more than I take. So I pay the tax man way more than I take for myself, because they take like 50 or like 55% or 54%. It's horrible. Yeah, money buys you stuff and gets you places, but when I did another software company that stressed me out far more than this, because I employed tons of people, I wasn't as happy. I didn't have the time to enjoy what I had. This is the contacts, isn't it? So it's one of them where I better take these out before they fling everywhere. It's one of the things that you learn, I think, as you get older or as you get more money, that it takes, I guess, I don't know how to say it right, but it kind of takes time, or it takes freedom in your mind to be able to appreciate what you have. So when I was running around working 7 days a week, 14-hour days, minimum, 24/7 for years, flying out on Christmas everywhere to do software, I had money falling out me horse. I could buy Porsches every week if I wanted. I owned the highest end Porsche cars you could buy. Kicked the door shut with my foot, never looked at the car, didn't appreciate it, didn't care for it, did nothing for me, just because I had no time to appreciate it. Then when I calmed down a bit and got rid of a lot of stress and reduced the money, I so much more appreciated saving up and literally not being able to afford, like only a few years ago, not being able to really afford to buy a new phone when I broke one because I'd put all my money into retro. Like literally all of it was tied up in a house and retro, and I couldn't sell the house because I can't ever get loans. So I found really that I learned to truly appreciate that time lets you, I think time and the fact that if you feel like you've earned the money, if you feel like you've worked hard for the money, then it's got more appreciation. When I was making software and I was earning tons of money, but I felt like, well, it wasn't hard, I haven't done much. I don't feel like I'd made that money just because people were giving me money for it. Didn't feel like I'd earned it. Whereas when I'm doing retro and it's a struggle to invent a product and then sell a few hundred of them to make a few £1,000s, when you spend that few £1,000, it feels so much nicer because you've worked for it. So the pleasure genuinely, for me, the pleasure comes from the fact I've worked for it. Like that's why I always say you give somebody $1 million, it doesn't feel the same as earning it, and it never will. It's the pleasure for me comes from the fact I feel like I've earned it. That's all it's about. It doesn't matter how much the reward is. Like it's been harder for me to do. I'm wondering how these even press. I think it's just mechanical underneath. If it's been harder to earn, then the reward for me is better. I feel better that I've, put some effort in to earn that money. Yeah, so these are, you can see them here, they're just physical strips of metal that press on other physical metal contacts. So I think this is just, other than cleaning it the way we're doing, this is not the best way to, I don't think we're going to get this much more conductive as it looks. And these, the problem with these is there's no springiness to them. Oh yeah, and the good night's sleep is a massive thing. Like literally, if I take too much time off work, the problem I have is that I can't sleep because I feel like I haven't achieved anything. And again, nothing ever links back to monetary value. How satisfied I feel at the end of a day has got no relation to the money I've earned that day. It's entirely, like, I feel happier when what did I do not long ago? I worked till 4 a.m. when we were messing with that game, and we were like deciphering that stupid encryption on the game that was ace, and then I slept from 4 till 6, woke up, carried on, but I felt alive, I felt happy because we'd achieved something, we'd solved something, and I haven't made anything from it, and I never will, but I loved that, that chase, if you will, that there's a problem, I need to solve it. You're a bit of a workaholic. I don't know. It's what some people call stuff work, and I go on holiday, and that's what I want to do sometimes. I want the downtime, watch a bit of TV every now and then, but my downtime is no different than what my work is. I enjoy what I do. I like solving problems and making things. Yeah, this controller is not exactly dirty. The issue is simply it's just a strip of metal and it makes contact. So just like it's the simple fact you're just pushing a piece of metal onto metal. Like I think it's just that's the controller basically. Oh yeah, that literally was your fault. That was the night when we could do that, and then sat down on the sofa, and then that was the night I was up till 4 a.m, and now I think we've actually made it onto the ROM hacking page as well. Obviously, if you follow the Discord, let's see if we're still on there, which is quite cool because, yeah. So check this out. PC, look at that, romhacking.net, and they've even credited I think you should. I know technically I've done the hack, but I think you should credit everybody else that's been working with me on Discord and giving me the drive because that's part of why it's on there. But that's pretty cool that they've pushed us on that site as well. So I'm going to actually play this as well because this is basically, I thought the first time I saw it, I thought, oh, it's Pokemon. This come out before Pokemon, and it's basically I don't even know, I haven't played it yet, but you can see from looking at it, it's made by Hudson, and I definitely want to play this now. So the fact I've actually unlocked it, because it won't play on. It wouldn't play on flashcards was basically the problem, and now I've made it so it can. But I want to play it now. It's because it's got a a memory bank controller that's specific to that game only. So we had to figure out what that was doing and then patch it, and I patched it into another standard that flashcards understand, which is just the memory bank controller 3, I think I patched it into, or the 5. I honestly can't even remember. I've done that many things. I wasn't joking when I said I'll literally forget what I'm on after a few days. I'll forget I've even done stuff. I'll tell you what I'm doing next week though. I'm getting back on that Game Gear. The game studio I'm making for Game Gear. Because I only spent a few weeks on it, and then I haven't been on it since then, but I got to the point of like the level editor stuff, and then went down a big rabbit hole of making a sprite engine, and then went down the rabbit hole of trying to make a sprite as part of it as well. So I need to get back on that, so I'm going to spend a week of nights on it, I think, next week. Just got the clean screen and clean use AA. Nice. Yeah, I've just released. Actually, I could probably show off. I've got a Game Gear lying around. Made a really nice new website for it. I'm not forgetting anything here, am I now? Going back in. So I don't hold hopes for this being much better, and I can't believe there's cardboard in here. That's like, I've never seen one before, but my gut is telling me that is literally how they sent them out, with cardboard in. So let's see if that's improved it at all. But the customer hasn't complained about the controller's sensitivity. Maybe he knows that's how it is. Oh yeah, it's 100% got to be a pug game. We're not allowed to make anything in Game Gear Studio except pugs. The free tier is going to be pugs only. I guess let's put them screws back in, and then let's see if this has improved the game at all. Probably hasn't. There we go. So, all in all, though, that's not bad for not knowing anything about this console whatsoever, and getting it working. So that's in there. That on there. Power and ground. Always double check before you connect power as well. You'll notice every time I come to connect power, I'm looking around and just double checking nothing's shorting out, nothing's touching, and that I'm not making a mistake. Especially on consoles I don't own and that I can't replace. There we go. So now, load runner. Let's see. I mean, you saw how ridiculous these were for press. I'm not holding hope that these are going to be any better, but let's see. Right, and so left. Oh, left, right. Yeah, they actually are. Not massively. I suppose it's hard to tell there as well. How do I get out the hole? Oh, you just die. There we go. So you have to dig a hole and you can't go past until they walk in it. So, oh no, that is actually working way better. Oh yeah, okay. A little bit of IPA's massively helped. So now tap, run. Oh, I fell in the hole. Yeah, that's actually worked. I did not expect that to improve it at all. So let's see if we can go up. Up there. Yeah, that has improved it. Not huge on this. This is still a bit meh. But then buttons are fine now. So just tap them and they work. So that's a win. That's all up and running. So that's it really for this one. Well, we can build it back up, but I'm basically done now. If people are expecting more, let's just chat time now really, as I disassemble and reassemble this. So we can disconnect them wires, turn that off. Up works now, fine on the game. We fixed that. I tested it on, well, I just tested it as well, but yeah, that fixed it with the chip. It was basically IC18 that we've replaced now, so this chip here was faulty, so it was keeping the up pin basically pulled low all the time, and that's probably, we look at the schematic, PC, get rid of that. So up is pin 6 here. So it goes across, up, over to A up here. And then this one goes across down to joystick 2. So the third pin of joystick 2 is the only thing connected and 4. So I was going to say maybe there's like a more active pin, like this con pin maybe was more active, but there isn't. So I think it's just pure age. I don't think there's any specific reason that's failed. Right, so let's get my wires off, and then we'll do one last inspection. That's gone up to the full 20 watt then as well. We'll give it a little inspection before we get it back to the customer. And then obviously I haven't plugged the audio in, so cool to put a breakout socket, then use Mega Drive pad. Do you think? Yeah, actually. Yes and no, you'd have to convert it. The Mega Drive is a different format for the controllers. It's a pulsed format. These are just literally high and lows, but I have, because the Mega... Oh, what's the arcade thing called? Sega Megatech did exactly that, which is here. So I literally did exactly what you're saying, which is a Sega Mega Drive controller, all hacked together, and a breakout. And this is to plug into a Megatech. And what I did is convert this pad inside to physical, just highs and lows. So we could plug this in. I'd laugh if it was 7 pins and it was the same order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it isn't. I was going to say, it'd be ironic. But that, we could technically wire into this and use that. You just have to, the insides of this have completely, like you can see, look at the hole. It's not even got the Mega Drive controller in. So it's like been gutted, and I've converted all in here to work with the Megatech. So it's doable. Oh, big face cam, wrong button. But then Master System, I don't know the Master System or just high and low pins. They might be. I honestly can't remember. I might keep all this together, to be honest. I'm going to just keep that together. This like composite cable and clean RGB, because this is useful for connecting to RFs then, isn't it? Anytime we get an RF board, I don't have to sit and strip all that back down. So I'll put this in a bag and then keep it for when we come back to that. I did say I was going to quickly show the subs on stream how a contrast wheel works as well. So, oh yeah, I actually remember that. There was somewhere you had to plug in a second controller, wasn't there, as well? What was the game where you had to plug in the second controller and like hold left on it or something like that, or left and start to unlock secret modes? Back together now. Oh yeah, we said actually we're going to do one last visual inspection, didn't we, to make sure there's nothing on this board sus, I guess. But it's a fairly simple board, just a bunch of this is RAM, video RAM, I'm guessing. These are banks of just very small RAM. Power LED, 0.1 microfarad smoothing caps, they'll be for the RAM. Bolt caps for the chips. Video chip. TMM 2009, no idea. Maybe audio, where it is. There's your Sharp CPU. RF output, chroma crystal. Regulator 7805 for 5 volt. We know these two now are logic gates switching between joyport 1 and joyport 2 for the most part, so that's the 2-player thing. And then we've got 2 logic chips under there, which are LS139s, so that's the whole entirety of the board. There's not really much there. The bulk of the work's done by this Sharp Z80, so same thing that's on a Game Gear. So the Z80 is, interestingly, SG-1000. Is that a one chip? Yes, of course it's one chip, one chip, one chip. There we go. So that Z80 is for the most part the same as this Z80 here. So the Game Gear, this thing here, the Z80, is the same thing on the there. Like, other than a few instruction sets different. So I'd say this has got to be, unless this is purely generating the audio, I'd say this is probably an audio chip, TMM 209. But yeah, nothing looks out of the ordinary there. Cartridge port looks pretty sound. And then there's some bodge wires on here, but they are probably stock. I've not seen another one of these yet to know. That's also got a pinch line right through there. So see how that's got a little pinch line on the wire there, but that's obviously been resting in this case, so you can actually see it's resting on that line, and that's why it's got a kink on it. But I think for the age of the board, it looks pretty good, and then that's been kinked a bit as well. So maybe these aren't stock, because surely that wouldn't be stock. Oh yeah, kinked there as well, and they're running on there. I can't see Sega putting wires that close, but they're functional, they're working, and it's not gone anywhere all these years. So I think we're okay there. Really, there's nothing that's, you know, concerning to look at. So we can get this one put back in the case and sent back off. Wow, nobody in this factory had OCD. Get that in. Line that up. Look how level that heatsink is. It doesn't show on camera as much, but that'd drive me crazy. And I don't even have OCD, but that is badly slanted. Look at that. Like there's the PCB. There's the that was definitely screw it. It's close enough. Like, what the hell? That drive me nuts. And they've actually got the. Do you think they've maybe manually? Do you think they've just tapped a hole through there? I reckon what they've done is they've fit that, realised the heatsink's free to move, and I bet if we took that screw out, that's just a drill hole that they've then done, and yeah, that's never from factory. But then again, I don't know. Low volume probably. So that just sat in. This goes over to the edge. There we go. Yeah, past quality control. So like you say, it depends if it was Friday or not. A lot more gets passed on a Friday. I used to do where we weren't allowed to QC our own consoles as well, because the problem you'll get is if you've had a long day, or you're on a console that just doesn't want to work, or you've opened it up so many times you just had enough of it, you'd be tempted on QC to, like, say, test it, find a small problem and be like, fuck it, that can go. And you'd want to pass it because you're sick of seeing it. So I had a phase where we had a few more people and you weren't allowed to QC your own work. You had to pass it on to somebody else. But then that turned into everybody else would love to purposely throw back at the other person. So they'd find like absolutely anything. Like, oh, the left trigger's not quite the same, or oh, there's a speck of dust under there, or yeah, absolutely anything. Oh, the sticker's slightly not right, you need to redo that. But now there's only me and Zach that do the repairs, and Zach's more conscious than me probably. Like, he's built an Xbox up today and he's like that. But just think of that port. Yeah, send it, it's fine. He's like, no, it's slanted. Nah, fuck it off, it's fine. But sometimes I'm more picky on other things. But I think you have to judge it based on what the consoles are, and I speak to the customers basically, so normally I'll know the customer as well and know what they're after. So sometimes I know if they're going to be, hey, I like this combo, Red Bull and then coffee, works well good. Oh yeah, don't get me started with modern stuff, nothing like, oh, I can't test it now because I haven't got the power supply, but that's all up and built. Get this back in, this came in this lovely case. Load Runner, that's a weird name. There you go, cartridge for SC-3000 or SG-1000. So this is going back to the customer. all fixed, and I'll quickly show you before I'm done the insides of a contrast wheel and potentiometer, because the subs have been learning how to make PCBs on the stream this morning. So if you're interested in learning how to make PCBs, then just be a member or sub, basically. And one of the biggest questions is, how do potentiometers work? Or even people like want to know how these wheels work. So what's happening? So this is just, see how there's 3 traces here, the yellow traces? You can probably do. Is that zoomed in? I know we're not even zoomed in yet. So this is, I probably shouldn't break this one because this is an original Game Gear contrast wheel that nobody else can ever buy because I brought all the stock. And then I give these away to people that need them. So maybe we shouldn't break this one. Maybe I should. Let me hot air one off an actual Game Gear maybe, instead of using, like, these are literally brand new unused ones. I'm going to be breaking it, so let's instead just use a donor that's had every PCB done. Let's whip off the contrast wheel. And then I'm going to crack this open and show you what's inside and exactly how it works, so there's no mystery. So you can stop being confused by how wheels work. Put them on there. Get this off. There we go. Do we need anything off this? Wheels off. Screen. Pwah, stinks of fish. I don't think there's anything I need to rob off that. Bin. Alright, so now we have one that's really hot. So this is an original Game Gear wheel, but how do the wheels work? So first you can have wheels with multiple, so this is ideal because it's just one, so there's only 3 pins. Basically, this is much easier to understand as 3 pins. We all know how they work in one way, that you have, you know, you'll measure resistance on the outside 2 pins and it will be a certain value. So I could do with, see, I've taped my multimeter, I'm getting exacts because I've taped my multimeter up above me. But if I nick this, and then let me show you doing this, I suppose we could kind of do with maybe like that. And a potentiometer is just a resistor that can vary in value. So if you know what a resistor is, it's kind of hard to explain. It has resistance. How else do you explain that? It resists the flow of current, so you don't get dead shorts and things like that. That's the most simple form of explaining it. But if you put your multimeter into resistance mode, so this little ohms sign here, again, I've got a full guide on, like a full free series on YouTube of using a multimeter if you're unsure. And then if we go over the outside 2 pins, so, well, I'll say outside 2, if you ignore, stabbed myself, if you ignore this 4th pin, there's nothing connected on there, so the 4th pin on here, you can see there's nothing on this one. This is just a no pin, so maybe we cut that off so you don't get confused. There he goes. So this is now a 3-pin potentiometer because the 4th pin does nothing. And then if we now measure over the outside 2 pins, wow, how does that use these? They're bent and falling apart. Look at that. That's his probe. So can we see? Kind of want to see both. Let's get that up there. So probe over them 2. Wow, these are, I wouldn't trust these in a million years. They're like shaky. So see how it's 21 kilo ohms, so 20,000 ohms on the outside 2 pins. And if we turn the wheel, which you can't really see me doing that way, so if I turn this wheel, see how the resistance isn't changing? Now if I go on the out, doesn't matter which one, any outer pin and an inner one. So if I now turn the wheel, it says if I can keep this thing straight. So it's gone to 47 ohms, and then turn it up. And as you increase it, that continues to increase until the wheel's all the way at the end, where it's the 20k. So one side is 20k. If we turn the wheel, it starts to reduce and reduce and reduce until effectively you get to almost a dead short. Now, this is on 40 ohms. If I move the outside pin from the left side to the right side, you'll notice it flips around. So now it's 20k, and if we turn the wheel the other way, it reduces. So that's the variability of it. You basically have this wheel, and you attach, typically if you want to measure voltage drop or something, you can form a voltage divider. But ultimately, however you choose to use this, you attach one pin here and one pin here, and as this wheel turns, this resistance between these two pins changes. If you want to flip the polarity of it like the direction of the wheel, you'd attach from this pin to this pin. So how does this work? This confuses lots of people. First, we will basically snap this plastic off, or try and do it. There we go. So here's what you have. Normally, get my little pad. This is kind of usually a sub-only stream where I explain stuff like this. Get my little drawing, little pen. So we did this on the sub stream this morning, and you'll see why I did my little diagram like this. So I drew a diagram like this. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-pin potentiometer like this, and I've got little arms like this. And what I've drawn there is ultimately, now that's a 5-pin, so we'll come back to that. This 3-pin is even simpler, so it's just an arc, a pin, and a single arm. So this arc physically represents this arc. So see this carbon going around? So that's why when we measure between these two pins, it's always a fixed resistance, because it's the resistance of this strip. Now the key thing here is, if we put this into resistance mode, if I go on, say, this part of the carbon here and probe here, then if I show you on here, good enough there. So if I touch on, I've got all the software that I could overlay this on screen, and I'm showing you this way. But in fact, why don't? Oh, yeah, it's not set up. Sorry, this is the way we're doing it for now. So if I touch on where I showed you the start of it and say near the start, see how it's 1.8k. If I go closer, see how it's 8 ohms. If I go further away, it's 6k. If I go all the way over here, it's 18k. So what's happening is, as we move this around, this physical probe point from here to here to here to here, there's resistance in this strip. So basically, as we go around, we're adding resistance. So when we go over all the way, there's 20 kiloohms of resistance in this carbon strip. So how does it change on this pin? Well, that's where the plastic cover that sits over the top comes in. So I drew on my drawing a little wiper arm, because you can imagine just a piece of metal bridging over. So if you go back to this and you imagine this is the outside probe going to there, and this is my magic wiper arm that's attached to here, and I kind of do this and short out the pin, then I'm going from here around here and then shorting down to this trace here to come out. So this carbon doesn't matter so much. You can think of this carbon as just 0 ohms. The point is, we join from here to here via a wiper arm. So we basically, if we shorted a bridge across here, we're going to be able to measure from here down to here, which we know is a shorter voltage, a shorter resistance. If we were to bridge right at the edge here, then it's 0 ohms. So that's literally what it does when you have this wheel in, and you can see these little springs. So these little springs here, see them there? What they do is, one sits on the inside ring, the other sits on the outside ring, and as we turn this around and spin it, we are ultimately just shorting out the two places at a different point. So as this goes over like this and it's placed over the top, we are shorting straight across with these springs. So we can even probably take these springs out. If I can get them out of here. Probably can't. It's too bendy. But I was going to try and get them out for you. So you can see the middle arm here would touch this middle bit, and this outer arm, and then if we pull this out, maybe you can kind of see, this would sit over like that. So you can kind of see there that the important piece there sits over and makes contact. So now, as we turn the wheel around and this thing spins, you can see, say it's spun to that position, it's joining this bit of copper up through this 0 ohm piece of metal and back down out to here. And then as we rotate that further and turn it around, you can see then we're shorting there to there. So we've got to go all the way up, all the way around, and then down. So we're like 10k here. And if you turn the wheel more, and it turns all the way upside down, you go, around to there. You've got to make it all the way around to 20k. So that's basically how it works. It's literally this piece of metal that's inside this is shorting between these two traces, and this trace itself changes resistance based on how far along that trace you go. So when you try and clean these wheels, that's why we say spray IPA in here and push down on the wheel as you're turning like that, and that's because you're basically trying to clean and rub the IPA on this and this metal to remove any residue. Because if this becomes, flew off, if this becomes dirty, this is a thing that's meant to be 0 ohms and bridging between these two pins, but these contacts rubbing against this carbon all the time end up getting carbon stuck on them, so they're always resistive. So that's pretty much how that works for anyone that was interested. And then when you have two, let me just pull this nail off that's half broken. So that's what my drawing represents anyway, easier, is that this arm, you imagine this arm short-circuiting this path. And then when you have two of them, you just end up with this black, you'll literally see double carbon. So you see how you've got two pins here, and the carbon goes around in a U? You'd literally see on the 5-pin ones, the carbon over here, you'd have another leg here attaching to the same piece of carbon. So there's your 5-pin with two. And then it'd go around, but two separate traces. So you'd have another pin here. And then you'd end up with this path. You'd literally have a fat arc of carbon there, a fat arc of carbon there, and then one wiper that bridges from the center to the outer trace and another wiper that bridges from the center to the inner trace. And you just end up with two potentiometers baked into one physical wheel. And that's good for things like volume control. So left and right audio, where you need to have the resistance on both a left and a right channel of audio, which is literally what we're doing right now on the Game Boy re-PCB that we're making. So that's it for that one, basically. Now it's time to make some tea. And I'll catch everybody, what day are we even on? Wednesday? Might be on tomorrow, we'll see. I think I'll probably got to do some software vids tomorrow. If you're interested in the software vids, just jump on Angel 6 instead of Retro 6 and I'll be on there. And that's it for today, guys. So thanks for joining in, and thanks for all the newcomers that have appeared. Right, that one's got nothing on we want either. So that can go in the bin. Zoom that back out. There we go. So yeah, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow, if not, almost definitely Friday. And I'll see next week for subs. I won't, because I'm away. I can't really do the sub streams next week, so I'll try and do another one at the weekend as well. We'll try and get that re-PCB sorted on the schematic side. And my Ember mug is still warm. Coffee and Red Bull. Yeah, see you guys soon. As my Picoscope started up and I closed it. Closed the Picoscope, it reopened itself.